Conor, Jubran, you guys have a lot of visibility to the venture ecosystem globally in your respective roles at KPMG. When you think about mindset issues, Conor, the venture investor community is so focused now on artificial intelligence and the potential of artificial intelligence. How do you think about that from a perspective of an investor and also from KPMG's perspective and your visibility of the marketplace? What do you think needs to happen to have the right framework from a regulatory standpoint for artificial intelligence and the companies having the right mindset to innovate in this area and continue to innovate?
The thing actually that we're looking at now, where actually I think we can add value before we kind of get to how the mindset should work in these companies, is that the companies today that need to react to it need to react extremely quickly. Like we've all been in technology for a long time, and we've probably hear this every 10 years, like this is going to be the most impactful 18, 24 months we've ever seen. But I think that is really true with this particular thing. And businesses that we think of today could get wiped out overnight, or businesses that have a ton of data that's currently been scraped and crawled, et cetera, and have got to figure out, okay, like, how do I monetize that? How do I license that? And how should I price it? Is it $1 million? That feels right. $10 million feels right. And I think we can play a role in helping those companies figure out their strategy to react to it, not necessarily applying AI, but like, how do I react to it? Because it's going to sort of metamorphically change my business.
How can I, in fact, start using generative AI, not only as an individual in my day-to-day experience, but also as part of my business, helping to, get more efficiency out of the business, but also using that to generate new lines of revenue for the business, right? So the whole conversation went around that, and that coincided with a survey that we have just released in the US around generative AI that showed that 85% of leaders already trust AI in a way that they're ready to implement, obviously being careful to learn with it on the go.
And I think also there's a great opportunity because AI will impact what we do and how we deliver services. Like I've been on the cusp of extinction for 20 years, and it might actually happen now with this particular technology, but our younger people can actually be more effective in this space because it's not as much of a transition as it is for the two of us. So I'm hoping actually we can get some folks very interested in this space. They want to play in this space. They're going to stay with KPMG longer, and they're going to add more and more value for our clients. And I think our clients will be receptive to younger people on this particular topic than they might be on topics that have been here for 30, 40 years. So definitely looking forward to it.
When you think about product expansion for KPMG, KPMG Beyond, what's that all about?
It was that moment when we sort of realized that there are a lot of enterprises like small, medium, and large sizes, less complex private companies, not public companies, not governments, not banks, that were really willing to work more with KPMG, right? And the way we really found of making that happen was by creating an e-commerce within KPMG. It's the first actually e-commerce within large consulting firms in the world. It happened here in Brazil. Now we're working this as part of a global project.
To get to where we are today, where small to medium businesses can purchase things from KPMG. They've never interacted with KPMG before. They can get approved, credit card, the whole bit within a couple of minutes. And honestly, that particular interaction was inaccessible previously. And even if it was accessible, there was so much friction in it that for like 90% of the people that would show up would probably disappear at some point before they'd actually purchase.
So when you think about your global client base today and where it could go now, is this a significant expansion, sort of top of funnel for you in terms of addressable market now, or is it also within the services you're offering today to existing clients, there's an expansion opportunity?
I think it's both. There are services that we can now sell digitally that will not just be the typical sort of hours times rate services, and they will be completely sold digitally. There will be, to the top of the funnel, there will be new people who are interested in getting services from KPMG. They will come in through Beyond. Now, the ultimate solution for them may still be the P times Q, but it's a lead generation for us. And then I think ultimately we're going to have clients that are doing both. Right, they're purchasing what makes sense to buy digitally, and then maybe that needs some type of wraparound with the traditional professional services. So I think the options are significant. We're going to be able to better serve our existing constituent of clients and be able to sell to an additional group of folks that weren't available to us before.
When you think about innovation ecosystems globally and your industry, what does the role that firms like yours needs to play long term to keep driving innovation forward in a positive way, to have a positive impact on societies?
I view our responsibility to be coming up with the appropriate thought leadership for this group, using the fact that we're in so many countries around the world, all of the big firms are in all these countries, we see good, we see bad, and it's explaining to our clients what good looks like, explaining to them what happens if they don't do good, like what ends up if you go bad, like all of that stuff. I think there are times actually we underplay how much value that we can add.
Probably the time when innovation was done by one itself and alone is over. So even though we need to be ahead of the curve as consultants, I think alliances have become very important so that we construct, innovation nowadays together with other big players that are also going through the same problems as we are. So together we are learning, and as a consultancy, obviously we need to be ahead of the curve to help them get where they need to get.
It's critical to us to be working with both the investors and the portfolio companies, because some of our largest clients today were emerging giants companies 10, 20 years ago. And I constantly have to remind people that these startups that we're working with today, these emerging giants today, that's what they will be in 10 or 20 years. And I think there's going to be more and more, yeah, exactly. The more and more, and I do think this generation that's coming up is going to be even more entrepreneurial. I think there's going to be way more people starting their own businesses than doing what I did and going to do the same thing for 30 or 40 years. So it's critically important for us to execute on that emerging giant strategy.
Obviously, the emerging giants is a great example of how we are working together with the ecosystem with the startups ecosystem. And maybe just to use Brazil as an example as well, we have 19,000 startups in Brazil. And when you think about this, obviously it's kind of difficult to work in a quality way with 19,000 companies, right? So we've developed this algorithm here to filter that down on a yearly basis. We do the reassessment of that algorithm, and we got like 100 startups that we really see potential to become unicorn, to go public, those that we want to be part of the journey together with them day in, day out. And not only
from the early days.
And from the early days, like Conor said, and not only at the end, right? But in addition to that, then you ask me, okay, so what about the rest of the ecosystem? You're just working with those that have potential to get there. I'm like, no. So we really like to give back. So what we're doing for the other side of the 19,000, if you will, so we open the possibility with the Global Tech Innovator competition that we have so that they can participate in that competition locally. And then you have the possibility of being the world's Global Tech Innovator within the program of KPMG. And by the way, I could not do this. Brazil has been the winner 2 years ago in the first edition
clearly,
of that.
Diego Stone.
Right, Diego Stone Free Tech. Yeah, that's right.